Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Karla Schaffer, and this is Anne Arundel County Week in Review. This week will feature traffic improvements, county council decisions, and an electronics museum in North County. Making headlines this week, while commuters in the Annapolis area should be enjoying shorter trips along the Riva Road corridor, County Executive John R. Leopold announced the results of a recent project to improve traffic signal coordination in the Parole area. Using grant funds from the Federal Highway Administration and administered by the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, county forces installed new software and hardware which continuously monitors traffic volumes and makes real-time adjustments to signal timing plans at 11 signals along the Riva Road corridor. Overall, the new system has reduced travel time by 8% and total delay by 26% in the corridor. The most dramatic improvements have occurred on northbound Riva Road and during the evening rush hour. The county executive went on to announce plans for a similar system to be installed on Forest Drive, again using federal grant money. County Executive Leopold said of the improvements, Anne Arundel County is proud to be one of the first 4 jurisdictions in the country to employ the system. It demonstrates our commitment to make use of the latest technology and intergovernmental partnerships to improve the quality of life for Anne Arundel County residents.
Earlier this week, the County Council unanimously voted to reject a bill that would allow the Board of Education to transfer money in the school system budget. Mr. Leopold made the following statement after hearing of the decision. I'm pleased that the Council opposed Resolution 4011. This establishes an important principle that the Board of Education is not an island. This may be the first time in decades that the County Council has rejected a budget transfer resolution from the Board of Education. In these difficult and challenging budget times, there should be a spirit of shared sacrifice in government. It would be inequitable to expect that the County Council and this administration support a request funding 1.4% in salary enhancements when other government agencies continue to operate with service reduction days and other reductions averaging 4.6%.
Well, once again this year, County Executive John R. Leopold is seeking nominations for the Dallas G. Pace Humanitarian Award. Mr. Leopold spoke of the first Human Relations Commission chairman, stating, Dallas Pace was a teacher, a coach, a scoutmaster, a soldier, and a community leader. The award in his name is given to someone who has really made a difference in the lives of citizens from all walks of life. If you know someone who has made such a contribution, nominate them to be recognized for their efforts. Dallas Pace passed away in 1974. His long list of accomplishments include membership on the National Board of the Red Cross, the Annapolis NAACP, and the Anne Arundel County PTA. Any citizen 21 or older who resides within the county during the calendar year 2011 is eligible. Nominations must be received on the official entry form by September 19, 2011, and for more information or to request an entry form, please call 410-222-1234.
Well, there's more Week in Review to come. Take a look at the community calendar for what's happening around your county. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
County Executive John Leopold wants to remind all residents that an animal should never be left unattended in a vehicle during the hot summer months. Even on a mild day with the windows cracked, the temperature inside will rise quickly, causing imminent harm or death to pets. If an animal control officer sees an animal left unattended in a vehicle, a criminal citation will be written, and the owner of the vehicle must appear in court and face a potential fine of $500 and 30 days in jail. Don't put your animal in harm's way, even on a mild day. Don't leave any pets unattended in vehicles.
Welcome back. Following a raucous round of testimony, the Anne Arundel County Council unanimously adopted a controversial set of zoning changes for South County and Annapolis this week. Since June, council members have fielded calls, complaints, and pleas from residents from Crownsville to Crofton to Harwood interested in having a voice in guiding the county's growth. For those citizens supporting commercial zoning to allow the expansion of some businesses, that changes are necessary to reflect the county's growth. Their opponents argue that some of those changes will erode the rural characteristics of South County and their lifestyle. County planners opposed many of the changes, pointing out that the changes violate planning documents drawn up over the years with community input. County Executive John Leopold has said that he would line-item veto amendments that passed and were not consistent with the county's planning and growth documents. Stay tuned, folks. I'm sure there'll be more to come on this story next week.
Mary Felter is joined by Pam Toomey, and they are discussing how to live well with chronic conditions. Mary?
Thank you, Karla. Today I'm welcoming back on the program Pam Toomey, who is our grant coordinator for our, let's make sure I call it right, the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program at the department. Welcome to the program, Pam.
Thank you, Mary. It's nice to be here.
I asked you here because you and Anne Arundel County Medical Center, Anne Arundel Medical Center, joined together in a partnership to present this program, the Living Well with Chronic Conditions, at the hospital. You've been doing it a lot of times now, very successfully at several different senior centers and other outreach centers, but this is the first time with the hospital.
Exactly. We're very excited. We've recently formed a partnership with Anne Arundel Medical Center, so we're now going to be teaching these chronic disease workshops over at the hospital. We're going to teach them a couple times, a couple different time frames, and we're going to be teaching the workshops in the Health Sciences Pavilion, the new Health Sciences Pavilion.
So tell me about the workshops. What are they and who should take them?
Well, actually, the workshops, it's a 6-week workshop. The workshops are free, and it's for any adult aged 18 or older that has a chronic condition. And the chronic condition can be anything from heart disease to COPD to diabetes, any chronic condition, because we find that no matter what the chronic condition, a lot of people have the same problems or the same symptoms associated with the chronic conditions.
And if you have these chronic things, diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure, and obesity, I see is on the list, how do you structure this class?
Well, actually, because it's a 6-week program and they come once a week for 2.5 hours, and actually each session builds on the previous one.
Okay.
So we really encourage people to come to all 6 weeks because each week builds upon the previous one.
What are you going to cover in the sessions? What do you expect people are going to learn how to do?
Well, actually, again, the 6-week class focuses on a lot of the symptoms that are associated with a chronic condition. So no matter what the chronic condition is, everyone experiences frustration and pain and fatigue, and shortness of breath is a huge one. So we deal with different coping strategies to deal with all the different symptoms that are associated with the chronic conditions. We talk a lot about exercise and nutrition. We talk a lot about relaxation techniques and how to deal and combat that shortness of breath. We talk about communication and how to deal with your physician and how to communicate with the family members when you're not feeling well. So every week there's a different topic that's discussed.
And the techniques are going to cover things like improving your strength and your flexibility and
Absolutely. So we talk again a lot about exercise and nutrition, and we talk about endurance, and we talk about flexibility and how to exercise and how to increase your flexibility. And we talk about how to evaluate new treatments, because there's so many different, even over-the-counter medicines that are out now. So we teach people, what questions to ask and how to figure out if this over-the-counter treatment is for them or not.
right. Mm-hmm. How did this program get started?
It actually got started, the program is actually written by Stanford University, and it's an evidence-based program written by Stanford University in tandem with Kaiser Permanente, that's the Northern California Kaiser Permanente. So they collaborated on this program, and they actually tested it on 1,000 different patients.
My goodness.
Yeah.
When you said evidence-based, what does that mean exactly?
Well, actually, there's evidence to prove that people who participated in the program versus those who did not participate in the program had improved health. So when I say improved health, their overall health improved after taking this 6-week workshop. They actually increased their health healthful behaviors. They actually had less trips to their doctors, to their physicians, and they actually saw a reduction in the number of times that they went to the emergency room.
So that's not just good for their health, it's also good for their finances, because then they don't have to pay for so many things.
Absolutely.
When people come to the workshop, do they get lectured, or what kind of way do you present these workshops?
No, there's actually 2 facilitators that always teach the class, and that's why I call them facilitators. They're not lecturers. It's always facilitated by 2 of us, and actually the classes are highly participative, so we really encourage participation. We don't stand up there and lecture for 2.5 hours, because that would be boring and nobody would learn anything. So we really engage the participants. They actually even have to do a little bit of homework. There's a lot of goal setting and action planning, and a little bit of homework goes with every session.
I understand you also have a book that they're going to receive at the free workshops. Can you show that off to our audience?
Sure. This is the textbook. It's called Living a Healthy Life with Chronic Conditions. It's over 300 pages. Just has a lot of good information in here. Addresses individual chronic conditions as well as a plan for an overall better health.
And that's a free book for them if they come to the course?
Absolutely. It's a free textbook for anyone.
So
that
when do
comes.
these classes start at Anne Arundel Medical Center?
Well, actually, they start at Anne Arundel Medical Center the first full week of September. So we're doing them on Wednesday mornings from 9:30 to 12, and then we're also doing an evening class Thursday evenings from 5 to 7:30. So the Wednesday morning class starts Wednesday, September 7th, and then the evening class starts Thursday, September 8th. And we decided to do the 5 to 7:30 time frame so that employees of Anne Arundel Medical Center can participate, as well as folks that work during the day.
And these are going to be held at the Dordan Institute at the Health Sciences Building, correct?
Yes, at the Health Sciences Pavilion, and that's right next to the Sajak Pavilion. And we're going to be up there on the 7th floor in that lovely new facility.
Yes, it is. And you also have another series starting October the 19th.
Yes, we do. So once the first series finishes after the 6 weeks, then we start the second series right after that, and that would start October 19th. Same time frame.
How do people register for this? How do they get more information?
Actually, they can either go online to Ask AMC, which that address is www.askaamc.org. If they don't have access to a computer, they can call Ask AAMC, and that phone number is 443-481-4000. So they can call that number, they can ask a variety of different questions that they need to about all sorts of different programs at Anne Arundel Medical Center, and then they can register through our workshop at that number as well.
Can they also call you at the Department of Aging and Disabilities if they want some information?
Absolutely, and they can always register through me directly through the Department of Aging, and that phone number is 410-222-4366, and then they would just ask for me, Pam Toomey.
And I understand you're going to have a specific class, one that deals just strictly with diabetes?
Yes, we are actually. We're going to be doing a diabetes workshop, uses the same format, and that's going to be held at the Severna Park Community Center, which is right there on the B&A Boulevard. And that class is going to start on a Tuesday, and that's going to start Tuesday, October the 11th from 9:30 to noon. And that will be addressing, specific problems that go with diabetes.
So you're also going to be talking about monitoring blood sugar and nutritional facts for people who have it?
Absolutely. We'll spend a lot of time talking about how to monitor your blood sugar. We spend a lot of time talking about nutrition and healthy eating and how to count carbohydrate grams. We spend a lot of time reading labels, going over, how to analyze labels. Spend a lot of time talking about exercise, because we know what a great effect exercise has on blood sugar. And then we also talk about skin and foot care, because that goes hand in hand when you have diabetes.
So the best number to call for registration for the hospital classes and also for your diabetes class is?
That would be the Department of Aging, and that phone number is 410-222-4366. And again, they can ask for me, and that's Pam Toomey.
Well, thank you very much, Pam Toomey, for coming on our program today and letting us know about how to live well with chronic conditions. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, Mary. My pleasure.
This is Mary Felter, Public Information Officer for the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities for Anne Arundel Week in Review. Back to you, Karla.
Thank you, Mary.
On August 13, 2011, at approximately 6:30 p.m., officers from the Northern District responded to Crane Video, located in the 800 block of Crane Highway in Glen Burnie, for a report of a robbery that had just occurred. Join us now is Public Information Officer Justin Mulcahy with further details on this investigation. Justin.
Thanks, Eric. When officers arrived on scene, they spoke with an employee of Big City Tobacco Outlet, which is located inside of the video store, who advised that a white male suspect entered the store and purchased a carton of cigarettes. Now, as the employee opened the cash register, the suspect produced a handgun and demanded money. The employee complied by handing over an undisclosed amount of money to the suspect, who then fled on foot out the rear side door. Several officers, a canine unit, and the aviation unit canvassed the area but were unable to locate that suspect. The suspect in this case is being described as a white male, about 6 feet, unknown weight and age. He was last seen wearing a light blue windbreaker type of jacket with buttons, a multicolored mask covering his face, also last seen wearing black leather gloves and blue jeans. Moving on now to our second incident. That one took place on August 16th at 4:25 in the morning. That's when officers from the Eastern District responded to the 7-Eleven store located in the 7700 block of Quarterfield Road in Glen Burnie for a report of an armed robbery of that business. When officers got on scene, they spoke with the clerk, who indicated that a male suspect entered the store, displayed a handgun, and announced a robbery. The clerk complied by handing over an undisclosed amount of money from the registers to the suspect, who then fled on foot toward the rear of the store. Several officers and a canine unit searched the area but were unable to locate that suspect as well. Now, the suspect in that commercial armed robbery is described as a black male, about 5'5" to 6 feet, with a medium build and light complexion. He was last seen wearing a long-sleeve black shirt with a gray shirt underneath, black jeans, and a black ski mask. Now, as always, folks, if you have any information on any of the crimes or suspects we mentioned on the show, don't hesitate to email or text your tip. You can also call Metro Crime Stoppers hotline. That number is available at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP. The text message works this way. You text MCS plus your message to crimes at 274-637. Your third option, visit the website at www.metrocrimestoppers.net. Remember, phone calls are not recorded and callers remain anonymous. You might even be eligible for a cash reward of up to $2,000. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Justin. Well, in this week's Community Spotlight, Mark Chang invites all you techies out in TV land to check out the National Electronics Museum in Linthicum. Hey, Mark, what's going on there?
Thanks. I'm over here at the National Electronics Museum in Linthicum, and with me today I have Mike Simons, the Executive Director of the museum, and also Gary Moeller, who's a board member of the museum. First of all, let's start off with you, Mike. Mike, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot.
Great. For folks out there who don't know about the museum, could you tell the folks out there, what is the museum about?
Yeah, we present the history of defense electronics, primarily radar, countermeasures, radio, primarily military objects.
Great. And how long has the museum been here?
We're actually in our 32nd year. We've been in this location for about 15 years.
Great.
Yeah, which is in Linthicum, Maryland.
Okay, great. And how long have you been director here?
I've been here now 6 years.
Okay. This is a great, really neat facility here. About how many square footage is it?
We've got 22,000 square feet, and we have a meeting space, and that doesn't include the outdoor exhibits. We got a number of large historic objects on the outside as well.
Could you tell folks out there a little bit about the upcoming events that you have going on here?
Boy, we've got a lot of stuff going on this fall. We have a music festival, which you guys will learn a little bit more about here in a minute. We have a speaker series, which also you'll learn a little bit more about here in a minute. We have an event called YES, which is Young Engineers and Scientists Seminars. Now, this is for high school juniors and seniors. It's 4 consecutive weeks where the kids come in and get a chance to learn about the engineering method. They'll have a short lecture, and then they'll do engineering challenges. It's free. The kids can win prizes, and it's a great way that they can be introduced into engineering and science and technology and mathematics.
Like I said earlier, so many cool exhibits here. What are some of the most popular exhibits here?
Well, we just opened up over to my left here a new exhibit we call the Fundamentals Gallery, which just explains to people the basics of electricity and magnetism, starting out with what the Greeks experimented with, all the way through to some of the concepts you'll learn about in the rest of the museum.
Great. You know, I'll tell you, it's just a stone's throw away from the BWI airport. For folks out there, could you tell folks out there where you're located?
Oh, yeah, we're in Linthicum, Maryland. We're on 1745 West Nursery Road. And we're open from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon during the week, Monday through Fridays. We're open from 9 to 2 on Saturdays, and admission is $3 general, $1 for students and retirees.
Okay, great. And I'm sure being a technology museum, you all have a website and email address. And could you tell the folks out there about that?
Oh, absolutely. It's nationalelectronicsmuseum.org, and we're also, of course, on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Okay, I'm sure you're on every type of technological thing out there. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the folks out there about the museum?
Even if you're not well versed in technology, we have something for everybody. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of hands-on things that people can try out. So I think we have a lot of things, and we're also kind of one of the hidden jewels of the area.
Absolutely. And speaking of hidden jewels, right behind us is a really cool exhibit here. Before I let you go and jump over to Gary, could you tell us a little bit about this exhibit?
Yeah, these are two satellites that were built and designed by Westinghouse back in the early and mid-'60s. They were designed to explore near-Earth environments. One of them was used to examine what was later called the Van Allen belts, which is the radiation that surrounds the Earth.
Very cool, very neat stuff. Great. Well, thanks a lot, Mike, for coming on the show. And jump over to you, Gary. How are you doing, Gary?
Doing great.
Great. It's always good to see you. I know you're involved in so many things, scouts and a lot of our community activities out there. But you're also a board member of this museum. And could you tell the folks out there why it's important or how people can get involved in the museum?
Well, one of the things that a lot of large corporations are dealing with right now, including the government, is a shortage of highly technical trained people. So we're always looking to what we can do to help in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And especially Anne Arundel County, we have so many high-tech companies here, and more coming in with the Base Realignment Act in Fort Meade, and they're going to need a highly trained workforce. And this is a place to get the kids excited about technology. So we do a lot of fun things here. We have something called a Pioneer Camp in the summer, and the kids come in and it's all hands-on. I mean, we're building electrical circuits and exploring the electricity through the ages and through the history, and by actually building and replicating some of the devices like Morse code keys or an old telephone that Graham Bell did. So the kids are actually learning by doing. And my experience with activities like we put on a Robot Fest every year now. This in 2012 will be our 12th year, and the kids just love to build stuff. So the things that we do at the museum pretty much feature a lot of hands-on activities. And then in the fall we have a program called Yes, and here again it's more technology, exposure to technology, but in a fun way. We do a event in January called Techno Swap Fest. One of our buddies came up with the idea, let's do a yard sale for geeks. And so it's all, instead of being pots and pans and old clothes, it's all kinds of electronics and mechanical treasures that a lot of guys have had their wives ask them to get rid of. So they come out and we swap junk with each other and go home hopefully with less than what we come with. But it's a lot of fun, and the one thing we're going to try again to do this year is to hold another BattleBot building workshop. So this year actually, we had a workshop where the kids got to build BattleBots and then do battle in the arena, and we did that as part of Robot Month in April, and then that was followed up with Robot Fest, and we were one of the 4 sites in the world that offered the first ever robotics merit badge for Boy Scouts. So we were very proud to be part of that launch of the robotics merit badge. And then the Boys Scouts venture into science, technology, engineering, and math. And there's a lot of new things coming out here in the next year or two from BSA to expand it. And we have an excellent facility here for highlighting technology and show how it's fun and exciting. One of the things that's coming up is in September the 7th, we have a speaker series, and it's ongoing throughout the year. Different topics, all technology oriented. And this one will be Lieutenant John Black, who was a pilot in Southeast Asia that's going to be talking about his experiences as a Navy pilot. And those sessions are really exciting. We've had one session on John Hopkins lab that was doing the session on robotics, and they brought some of their robots that they were experimenting with. We've had some historical reenactors of the Lindbergh flight. So it's really fun, and it's an evening activity that you can come to after work on, I think it's on a Wednesday night. So you can check out the website and get more details of the different speaker series throughout the year.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Gary, for all that information. A lot of information, and I know you really care about the future engineers that are coming up in our society here and also throughout the world. So, well, there's a lot of great, cool things at this museum, and I'm going to continue checking it out with the fellas here. But for folks out there, come on over to Linthicum and come check out the National Electronic Museum. And again, you can check it out also virtually on www.nationalelectronicmuseum.org. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Mark. Well, Eric, speaking of technology,
Yes.
we're just talking about how kids these days know so much more than even their parents do about technology, it seems.
It's amazing. They just pick up on this stuff so fast, but it's what they're ingrained. I mean, it's
Yeah.
what society has.
It's what they've grown up with now.
They've grown
Yeah.
up with it. And you're in talking about that, school is starting next week, folks. Next week, those big yellow buses are going to be going by picking up those kids. So be safe out there and make sure that you're looking for kids in the morning, in the afternoon. They're getting on and off the bus. It's going to be new. You've had a couple months of being able to drive as fast as you want.
Get to work without going past the school buses. And you have a new addition to the school buses.
A
in your
kindergartner, my little kindergartner will be getting on the bus, Fort Smallwood Elementary. So we're excited about that. That starts next week. Oh, it's hard to believe. But I tell you, speaking of kindergarten, I remember when I was in kindergarten, it was a lot of playtime, a lot of recess, a lot of playing with blocks. That's not the way it is now. They're doing homework, they're doing dittos,
Wow.
they've got to write their name, they've got to read
I don't think
words.
I had any homework.
They got homework.
There was some reading,
They'll have homework.
some math, but not. I don't think I ever brought anything home with me,
I brought blocks
other
home
than
with me.
some drawings.
Yeah. It's pretty neat, though. I mean, it just shows that the advancement of kids, and that's good. I mean, it gets them ready, gets them motivated, gets them learning. So.
Yeah. So you're going to be ready to help with homework? Have to brush up on that math?
Yeah, I got to brush up on 2 + 2 = 4.
All right, maybe by 4th grade it'll start.
Okay, hopefully by 3rd grade. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode online anytime at www.a8county.org. Archive episodes are available at blip.tv and YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes. Please tune in again next week when Karla will give us another math lesson. But for more highlights and news, we'll have it for you from around your county. We'll see you next time.